Welcome back, YCN Sports Talk. Jeremy Stout, Andrew Zerhide, and we continue our discussion with the Celtics, about the Celtics. And as we mentioned going into the break, this team, it's a good position to be in, but it's tricky to navigate the waters because you want to win now, and you can potentially, I think if you add Gordon Hayward, and that's all you add as a free agent, you can beat the Cavs. I don't really think there's a question mark about that because you already finished number one in the league. You got beat 4-1, but you add Hayward, just like that, you can beat the Cavs. But it's tricky because you don't want to sell too many pieces, and you want to beat the Warriors.
Right.
So if you're the Celtics right now and Danny Ainge, how do you look at that? Are there players that are untouchable on the Celtics team?
Yeah.
Or can they, like you said, the Paul George, let's explore that a little more. Can they somehow make that trade?
You know, I've heard rumors recently of Paul George maybe going to the Cavs.
Right,
I mean, if that happens, that kind of ruins
everything.
At least this season, probably next year too for the Celtics, at least their plans. I mean, really, where Paul George is playing next year is going to really be huge. If he goes to the Celtics, I mean, I think they might be the favorites over the. I mean, I don't know. It'd be tough to say with LeBron and everything, but I mean, yeah, Paul George, where he's playing, that's really going to determine so many moves for so many teams this offseason.
So say they can sign Hayward, because there were reports out there from EEI that they would sign Gordon Hayward and then they would trade for Paul George and sign him to an extension. Whether that's true or not, because Paul George seems to want to go to LA. So you might be at rental. But if you sign Hayward and you give up, a Crowder and a draft pick for Paul George, I think you're almost as good as the Warriors at that point. I mean, and I know that's saying a lot, but you've got Isaiah, you've got Horford, and then you'll have George and Hayward, and then you have Avery Bradley.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you.
But you want to give up that pick, first-round pick, Brooklyn maybe.
Right. You definitely have to give up some of those first-round picks that you have stockpiled right now. I mean, I agree with you. I think if they got both of them, they would at least be, in my mind, equal to the Warriors. They would be the favorites to meet in the finals. But, I mean, Gordon Hayward, coming to the Celtics, that's probably the most likely scenario.
Just because he's a free agent.
He's a free agent, and Brad Stevens was his coach in college, like we were saying before. So it just makes sense. It would be a good fit. But, I mean, in terms of giving up certain players in trades, like you're saying, I mean, you're talking about, like, Marcus Smart and Jay Crowder. Who's untouchable? Who can you give away? It's tough to say. I mean, I think Marcus Smart would probably be some good trade. Would be good in a trade. A lot of teams look at him as a good player, and he's getting better every year. But if you're Paul George, I think he's 32. If you want to go to LA, I don't think their window to win a championship is now.
He's gonna be in his...
I mean, when he's still kind of at the end of his prime now, 32. So if he wants to win a championship and have multiple chances for multiple seasons, going to the Celtics, in my mind, is the best option for him.
And maybe he's thinking of it as, well, hey, they just got Lonzo Ball, and they'll get Paul George, and then maybe add another superstar and be able to creep up in the West. But you're right. I mean, you're challenging the Warriors. That's a pretty tough challenge. So okay, so who's untouchable off the Celtics? I mean, people have said you don't want to trade away Jay Crowder because his contract's good, but you want to trade away Avery Bradley because he might leave in free agency when his contract's done in a couple years.
That's true.
Jaylen Brown, people have, and he could be good. So do you want to kind of? It's hard. Do you want to keep your core together and add supplemental pieces, or do you want to not blow it up, but go for the home run?
Well, if you're trading with the Pacers, I think Jaylen Brown would probably be the piece that they want because they're probably going to try to rebuild, get some younger players. And Jaylen Brown, we've seen it just for one season. He's gotten better at like almost every game. And so I think Jaylen Brown is probably the piece the Celtics would have to part ways with.
Right.
Avery Bradley, I think they should try to keep, definitely.
Right, yes.
He is so solid defensively, and even if he's having a bad offensive night, he makes up for it on defense.
Right.
And he's always playing so hard, and he's just a great player. If they can keep Avery Bradley and Horford and Thomas and build around those three, this is going to be a great team.
Yeah, definitely. I think Crowder's kind of the odd man out. I know he has that good contract, so they don't want to get rid of him, but I think there's a lot of pieces that still have to come into play. Yep. Obviously, free agents starting quickly before we hit the break. Russell Westbrook winning MVP over James Harden. Good move. It was kind of a toss-up with those two.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with it. What did he have, 40-something triple-doubles? He set a record. I mean, he was unbelievable. I mean, the two of them, it definitely came down to those two. I mean, I think he deserves it. And I even heard some rumors of Westbrook maybe even being traded.
Yep.
The Thunder putting him out there.
Well, because he can opt out, and so they
Right.
might want to get something for him.
Exactly.
It's a wild time in the NBA.
Yeah,
It's
right. It
crazy.
really is.
Everybody jumping all over the place. So lots going on this summer. Next week, I'm sure we'll have more information on the trades and free agents signings as well. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll get into the Red Sox, the newly acclaimed first place Red Sox. So we'll get into them when we come back. You're watching YCN Sports Talk.